Welcome to the 2025 overview of the planner journal sets. We will look through the planners and we will look at the color available options. Now, the first film I made of these sets, I was super sick. You could hear it in my voice, and it was dark outside. So here we go. We've got a little bit of sunlight here in this window in December, and I want to take a look at the sets with you. I've got two of the sets below, two of the set options, and then there are two more. So this one is, you can pair the caramel macchiato, which is called Boyfriend Leather Jacket on the website, with this pale Jackie Kennedy blue, which is called Meet Me in Bora Bora. So that is one absolutely gorgeous set. Then a second option we have here is, this is my favorite color right here and texture. And this one we call Lizzie's Dawn. And it's, as you can see, it's a pale, warm pink, almost a peach. Then we have Silver Lining, which is a lovely textured gray, almost a dolphin gray. And that makes a really beautiful set together. But you can also switch it up for a completely neutral set here, which a lot of people have done. And then you can also go with the two pastels, and that would be your set. This is very popular. I can't say for sure which is the most popular without looking, but I know that I feel like I'm getting a lot of orders for this. Fine, we'll say, July to December 2025, or the January through June. And here we go, Jan to June 2025. All right, so I'm going to set these sets aside and we are going to go through one of the planners. I think we will take a look at the gray one here. This is the one I've begun setting up, and I'll just show you some of the interior pages, and I will show you examples of usage now that we are in our third semester with the Owl Paper Journal. The end sheets, to most people's delight, I think pretty much everyone, are back, and this planner journal belongs to. And then we have mixed reviews on the new tagline. The old one was for Dreamers Who Do. This one is Daily, Weekly, Monthly, Limitless. I personally love both, and I would love to hear what you would want to see in 2026. And the copyright there. So then here we have the index, and here we go. Over here we have an example of the index, which you see, this is lay flat binding. Once you kind of open it up a few times, it will do that right away in the center. So for example, this is how I use my index page. It's a very simple concept as I'm writing anything. Basically, if I want to remember that idea, whether it's a book or a Christmas gift, I simply put it in the appropriate index category here on the left, and I will typically have things like health or recipes or gifts. Then we have the goal setting page, which I always emphasize is a completely optional page. For me, once I set up my goal setting page years ago, I have not changed it a lot. I sometimes carry it to my new books. Sometimes I use this as just kind of an overview of some of the steps of my original goal page that I made. And there are many ways to use this that I talk about on the website. This one is something you can do at any point, at any time. And you can do it on the goals page, and you can also do it on any of the blank pages. I often talk about this mind map, just saying my life, and then 5 years, 3 months, 1 year, and life. I also want to emphasize that you should do this in 5 minutes. You should set a 5-minute timer and make a mind map like this, and just without judging yourself and with allowing yourself to dream big, make that mind map. of your life, your ideal life. This will really help you stay grounded as you use the nuts and bolts, the practical pages of this planner. It will always refer back to your goals, your mind map. This one is another way of doing goals that can either be used separately or in conjunction with the spread on the left. I usually use it in conjunction. I pick one of these goals, sometimes two, because we always have a lot going on, and some of these goals are very practical and they're not so much in the category of dreams as they are things we need to take care of in our life. I love this that I got from the from Ryder Carroll's book. I make the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 list, 5 years, 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, 1 hour. And here's just an example of if you pick one of those goals. For example, if I highlighted finish my book, which I have highlighted here in coral, then what do I need to do in the next hour? What do I need to do in the next 2 days? What do I need to do in the next 3 weeks? What do I need to do in the next 4 months? What do I need to do in the next 5 years? You can make this list as often as you need to hone in on that one goal that you have on your mind map. This mind map can also be in list form. It doesn't have to be in my map. This is not really mine. It was kind of a fictionalized example. But these lists I love whenever I'm starting to feel off focus. I come back to making one of these 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I pick the goal that means the most to me, and I make this list. And then you can take these steps and you can divide them exactly as they fall among the structured planner pages of your planner. So if it's January and you said in 1 hour you wanted to write 30, set a timer, and you wanted to work on your novel for 30 minutes, then if it's January 3rd, you need to go to that right there and write that in the top of the page. And also I will be looking later at the daily pages. When you date one of these pages January 3rd, it needs to go in here as well, or one or the other, depending on whether you are more of a weekly or a daily planner user. Moving on from the goal page, it's okay, we've looked at this one, this one, this one. We have brand new in the 2025, we have the yearly overview. So many people were excited about this. I absolutely love it. I will now be able to see my whole year at once, and so will you. I've started filling out, this is my personal journal here. I usually just start with school breaks and doctor's appointments. These are the kind of most important big picture things that I need to start filling out. The way I'm using it is I am making the date every 5 lines, 1, 5, 10, 15. That way I can kind of squeeze in there what I need to. There are so many ways to use this yearly overview. You could use it as a mood tracker. I would love to see the way you guys choose to use the yearly overview. Moving on from that, this is a very simple concept here with my planner. I have the monthly calendars, which you can use for appointments. Maybe a habit tracker fits both here and here. Maybe some big top 3 or top 5, or you can use it for art, word of the month, that kind of thing. And then after that, I have this. I have a lot of lovely examples from customers of how they use this. And one person just really, this is like their working page of how they organize their habits and their self-care tracker. And it's really beautiful, and it's also intensely practical. And I really love to see the way that people use this. My favorite use so far has been like a monthly wins column. For example, something like this. That cycle repeats 6 times for each book. And then you come to 26 weeks for each semester book. Tons of space down below, starting and ending at practical times for most people. No AM or PM, so if you're a night shift worker, you can use this. A little mini calendar, backfilled dates. There are these color tabs here, and I especially really like the colors for the first semester. Use them to guide you. You can put your little sticker tabs on them. I have used these before from Midori because they're so tiny and I like them. I've used Mandy Lens, which are a little bit bigger, but they're also awesome. You can get a hold of them a little bit easier. And then we have what to me is sort of, well, I don't think there's any one heart and soul of the planner, but basically the reason I created this planner was so that I could have this luxury right here. I wanted 9 pages per week of my dailies. Just to give you an example of how my daily pages look, this again is my personal planner. They might look something like this or like this on the left. Sometimes I use a whole spread because it's a really busy planning kind of day, and that's awesome. This allows me the freedom of doing that. Like this one, this is an example of a day when I used a whole spread. I've been doing it more often lately because I've been realizing that I go through 4 of these in a year anyway. And then every week you have an additional blank spread that you can use for grocery shopping lists, errand lists, goal lists. I find I like to put some of my goal lists here so that when I'm in my week, this is cleaner down here. I used to always put my goals down here for my week. Now I've started doing more art and lettering because it kind of helps me center from a mental health perspective, art, lettering, and then I will do things like make one big list. Like on Monday, I made all these lists and I'll keep referring back to them. But you have the luxury of having 9 of these per week for that semester. And then you get to start all over again in book 2, whichever book 2 you picked. Again, your yearly overview, your tabs for your weeks. And that is pretty much it. Each book goes up to 320 pages. We have a 3.7 by 3.7 grid, so it's completely square. We have the Tomoe River paper. Some things I like to use with my planner. I like to use these color palette stickies Monolike. They make really good column stickers. I get these on Amazon. So you can put them right there. You can cover a meeting that was canceled and change your plan for that third of the column. Or you can just put one here per week. Often tends to be my grocery list. I love to use these little color dot markers for to-do lists. My favorite pen for this planner is this Jetstream Unipoint 38. Pre-cut washi tapes are really fun to use. LA Florals is one that I have fallen in love with. Mild liners. This is a pencil case that my little one gave me, my youngest daughter gave me years ago. Neocrit Flat Bloom from Koikuyo. Container that my oldest daughter gave me that I keep my washi tapes and calligraphy pens in. That is all. Stay tuned for a cover and pen video. This is my own cover from my own shop. It's the cork sleeve, and because it uses a pen closure, it does not need a grommet or band.